welcome back to another fancy schmancy episode of things that we do in class but not in class on a computer. So simplifying expressions with decimals, one level of grouping. Yesterday we actually finished off with one level of grouping on that last problem, but today we're going to look further at levels of grouping. Remember, grouping symbols are like brackets and parentheses, right? I just made it look like a robot with little arms and stuff. But those are brackets, those are parentheses, those are grouping symbols, all right? So grouping symbols, remember, we must do the things in grouping symbols before we move to anything else. So let's take a look at the first picture. Oh, it looks like yesterday's picture, but twice. So let's think about what we had yesterday. We had like three groups of 4 and 2/10. So 3 times 4 and 2/10 plus, oops, 2. That's a 2. 2 and 1/10, right? So we had three groups right there of 4 and 2/10 plus the one group of 2 and 1/10. Well, now we have that twice. All right. So basically, what we could say is if we put that in grouping symbols and put a 2 on the outside, now we're looking at this thing twice. So, remember, grouping symbols can make your life a lot easier. Instead of saying 4 and 2/10 plus 4 and 2/10 plus 4 and 2/10 plus 2 and 1/10 plus 4 and 2/10 plus 4 and 2/10 plus 4 and 2/10 plus 2 and 1/10, now we have one expression that gives us the same answer. So let's check this out really quick. First, we have to look inside the brackets. Put on our bracket goggles. I need to stop doing that. Put on our bracket goggles. So everything inside brackets. Within brackets, we have multiplication and division, all right? So we need to do the multiplication and the division inside brackets first. So I'm going to do my math to the side. 4 and 2/10 times 3. We did this yesterday, but we're still going to double check. Okay, so we have one decimal place, so it's 12 and 6/10. All right, so 12 and 6/10. I should really not put that in the brackets from up above. And we also talked about yesterday that once we do something, we might want to just kind of like put a little dash through it, just so we know we did it, but don't cross it, like black it out or cross it out too much. So you really want to know what you did before. So we know that we multiplied 3 and 4 and 2/10. So that's why I'm kind of putting a little line through it. And then I still have to keep everything that I did not use prior to that or before that. So now I have 12 and 6/10 plus 2 and 1/10. And yesterday we figured out that that was 14 and 7/10. If you wanted to do the math on that, of course. Remember, line up your decimal points, line up your place values, add them together, and we get 14. Drop it like it's hot. 7/10. All right, so now we have completed everything inside the brackets, but we don't have a operation symbol between the information over here and this number over here. So I'm not going to let the brackets disappear, because if I let the brackets disappear, then you're looking at basically 214 and 7/10. But this is 2 times 14 and 7/10. So if we take 14 and 7/10 and we multiply it by 2 and see what we get. 7 times 2 is 14. 2 times 4 is 8, plus 1 is 9. 2 times 1 is 2. And then we have one decimal place in our problem, so we need one decimal place in our product. Looks like our answer is 29 and 4/10. So if we doubled 14 and 7/10, we'd get 29 and 4/10. So I'm going to clear this because I bet they're just going to do the same thing, but digitally, and it's probably going to look better. So let's take a look. What do we notice? What do we wonder? It's the same thing as yesterday, but two groups of that. So 2 and 1/10 plus 4 and 2/10 times 3. So yesterday they did the expression backwards, but we know that because of the order of operations, we multiply and divide before we add and subtract. So we can put it on the second part of the problem, and we still have to do it first in order. All right, so after that, we see the same expression two times. So it'd be like if we added those two expressions, this plus this, or to make it easier, now we can just take that expression, put it in some grouping symbols, and multiply it times 2 for two groups. So we'd get the same answer. All right, so come back to the next video and we'll check out some more examples.